Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue. I'm Reverend Marla Mason, and I'm grateful to welcome you today into our virtual online community. It's a beautiful place to be. Every moment, cultivating our awareness of our oneness with something greater is a beautiful place to be. And that's what we're about here at Unity. We are about cultivating an atmosphere of love, love for that infinite presence and love for one another. We are about learning and growing, about deepening in our awareness of spirit. And we are about taking that awareness out into the world through the power of service, serving the greater good, serving something greater than we are, from this anchored place of love and conscious evolution. So that's who we are. Welcome to that. This month we are talking about, what do we stand for? What are we about as a teaching? And we've been talking each Sunday about a different one of the 5 unity principles. And I'm going to review those for you a little bit later in the service today. But today in particular, we're talking about staying connected. How do we actually apply those principles in the world of form? How do we stay connected to the principles, to the greater idea as we walk here on planet Earth? So that is our theme today. We have some terrific folks helping us hold it down and put it together, something lovely, lovely and wonderful for you today. And those people are, first, your prayer chaplains today are Lori Coleman and Jennifer Holt. They will be hosting prayer circle about 3, 4, 5 minutes after the service is over. You can join a breakout room and attend prayer circle with them. They are terrific. They are going to support you in prayer. They are also available to pray with you during the week. All you got to do is send an email to prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org, and they will pray for you. How lovely is that? So Jennifer and Lori are our prayer chaplains today. Our board host today is Susan Neidig. You're going to hear from her a little bit later. Thank you, Susan, our board president, for standing in consciousness and support for our spiritual community today. Monica McDowell-Elvig, our producer, our administrator, our everything, or at least my everything. I'm so grateful Monica is here today to kind of hold everything down and anchor us in consciousness and in technology in the realm of form. So that's who's serving from our center. We also have a lovely guest today, our international guests from Canada, the Vancouver area. Leora Cash and Jay Krebs are just such a terrific couple of musicians. I am so grateful that that they were born. I first met Leora when I was the minister at the Vancouver Center for Spiritual Living in Vancouver, BC. And she is just such a blessing and such a heart-filled singer. And Jay just anchors her so beautifully. And so they have some music with us to kick things off this morning. Leora and Jay, take us deep.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. We're so happy to be with you. We hope that you'll clap your hands wherever you are and sing along with me. Well, it's time to sing, and it's time to shout. It's time to say, let glory shine about. Well, it's time to dance, but no time to doubt, 'cause it's time to say, let glory shine about. In the heart of all mankind, sweet understanding there to find. Put away your troubled thoughts and heal the crooked knots of your mind. There's no healing in blame, but we do it just the same. What a sin. Our answer lies within, so greet this joyous day with a grin. It's time to sing, and it's time to shout, and it's time to say, let glory shine about. 'Cause it's time to dance, but no time to doubt. shine about. In my soul, my heart's embrace, this sweet love I now can taste. The key to the human race, sweet understanding, love and grace. The truth we all shall see, so fine eternally within God's love. This gift that has been given is ours, a love that comes from above. It's time to sing, and it's time to shout, and it's time to say, let glory shine about, 'cause it's time to dance, but no time to doubt, 'cause it's time to say, let glory shine about. It's time to sing, and it's time to shout. It's time to say, let glory shine about. It's time to dance, but no time to doubt, 'cause it's time to say, let glory shine about. It's time to say, let glory shine about. It's time to say, let glory shine about. We gotta let it shine. You and me, we gotta do our business and let it shine out. No time to be scared, no time to fear, no time to worry about anything. It's time, we gotta let it out. The goodness of God is waiting to be said by you and me. We gotta let it out. Come on, we gotta let it out, 'cause it's time to sing. Ooh, yeah.
It is time. It is time to remember who and whose we are. We belong to the infinite, and we simply allow ourselves to be lifted in that conscious awareness as I declare our oneness, as I declare the great and mighty blessing that is unfolding for every heart in this sacred virtual circle this morning. I know that we come together by divine appointment. We have already said yes to all that is about to unfold. And so I know that the music, the message, the fellowship we share, the people, the chats, everything that happens this morning is a blessing that we have called forth from the infinite storehouse of good. I bless this time and I call it good, giving thanks for the awakening, for the presence, for the knowing. And so it is. Amen. Dang. I wanted to sing that prayer. Hallelujah. All right, let's have an affirmation. I'm going to read through it once. I invite you to hear these words and allow them to permeate just every moment of your being. Take a receptive pose and say yes before the experience begins. I live, move, and have my being in the powerful presence of the living one. Wholeness, beauty, and grace effortlessly express in my life as I say yes to the divine flow of this presence as me. And so it is. Breathe that in. Own it, feel it, vibrate with it. And now join me in declaring these words again with confidence and conviction. Aloud, I live, move, and have my being in the powerful presence of the living one. Wholeness, beauty, and grace effortlessly express in my life as I say yes to the divine flow of this presence as me. And so it is.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your healing power. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only precious light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Spirit, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your healing power. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Oh, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. A channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring sweet love. Where there is injury, I'll bring healing power. And where there's doubt, and where there is doubt, and where there's doubt, true faith in all I do. My community of love, I'll stay with you, and I'll be a channel of peace. I'll be a channel of friendship. I'll be a channel of all things bright and beautiful. Make me a channel.
Thank you, Leora. Thank you, Jay. We are so blessed to have you. The world is blessed to have you. The world is blessed to have all of us, right? I had an experience weekend before last that reminded me of something really important. Do you know that if the toaster is not plugged in, it will not work? And there I was at our cabin, breakfast for a whole bunch of people, trying to get some bagels done. And I put them in, and I think flipped the thing down, and I started to walk away, and it didn't go down. And I went, and I'm flipping it down. Like, I already know it doesn't work, but I'm still flipping it down, right? And then I kind of hit the side a little bit, and then I shake it a little bit. And finally, it occurs to me, I wonder if this thing is plugged in. And I turned it around and I looked, and indeed, it was not plugged in. And it didn't work. What a lesson. I plugged it in. I put the thing down. It worked. It browned the bagels just like it's supposed to. This is how our lives work. When we are not plugged in, things don't go as well. Our bagels don't get browned, if you will, if we're not plugged in. And by this, I mean, we know what our basic foundational principles are. Infinite life, oneness with that life, creative process, prayer and meditation. But if we don't plug in to those principles and actually practice them in the world, our lives are just more difficult than they need to be. And I'm not saying that the spiritual path is easy, because I don't know about you, sometimes my spiritual path has actually been quite challenging. But as I plugged in consciously to the principles, as I stayed faithful to the principles, always, every single time, life got better. Every single time. We got to be plugged in. Today, we're specifically talking about the fifth unity principle, which is, we got to put the first four to work. Basically, our job is to live the truth that we know. We talked about all four principles, and I'm going to review them just a little bit with you out of our book of the month, The 5 Principles by Ellen Davenport. She talks about each one of these principles in a chapter, and the first chapter was all about God is all there is. Infinite presence, infinite mind, infinite energy. That's all there is, and we are having our being in that energy is principle number 2. We are expressions of that life, expressions of that energy. We have to be, because if God is all there is and we are something, we are in it, we must be expressions of that divine, a cell in the body of God. If you were in the meditation service this morning, we practiced our consciousness that we are a cell in the body of God. It's a metaphor. I don't know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Infinite presence, God is all there is. We are one with God. And the third unity principle is the principle of the creative process. We create our experience of life. We don't necessarily create every single thing that happens, but we create our experience of every single thing that happens. Consciously or not, we are drawing forth from an infinite storehouse of potential specific manifestations or collapses of potential, if you will, into form. That's what we're doing. And that is the creative process. And that is principle number 3. And then last week we talked about principle number 4, which is the creative process, which is how to work the creative process, getting connected to the infinite in the sense of using affirmative prayer to direct our experience of life. And so today we're talking about, we have to know the truth. We have to live. Now that we know all these things, knowing is great. Doing and being. from a consciousness of unity, from a consciousness of oneness, is what is going to change the world and make the world a better place for everyone. We have to stay connected to the principle. We have to practice the principle. We have to plug the toaster in and flip the little switch down. Theory is great, but where the rubber meets the road is practice. You see, what I believe is that we are here to we are here to do something, and we are here to be something. There has to be some purpose to manifesting in this realm of form. Yes, there must be some reason that we are here. And the most sense I can make of it, and perhaps you have a different idea or even a better idea, but the most I can make of it is that we are here to be love, to allow God to know itself more deeply as an experience of love. We are here to learn, to grow, to expand the consciousness of the infinite by expanding our own consciousness. And when we do that work, when we learn, evolve, and grow through the practice of these principles and through being the presence of love, the mind of God evolves and learns and grows. We are created in its image and likeness. The universe is ever expanding, ever growing, ever becoming more and more and more. And we have the opportunity to contribute to that expansion of consciousness by being the presence of love, by doing that which cultivates a greater expression of that love, by collapsing potential in ways that are life affirming and good. That's what I believe we are here to do. So we've been given this great and mighty gift, this awareness of our oneness with the infinite, and the practical tool of the creative process. It's an amazing gift. And we can work this gift to the best of our ability to create a better world, to create a better life. To contribute to the greater expression of the infinite. And what this is really about for me is, how do we show up with what shows up? Because I don't know about you, I got all kind of stuff showing up. Pandemics, Afghanistan, hurricanes, and that's out there. Right here inside my house, busyness, all kind of stuff, family stuff. See, all of this is showing up, and I get to consciously choose, because I understand spiritual principle, how I am going to show up with what shows up. And Ellen Davenport does a really great job on page 112, if you have the book, of helping us understand how we can use the 5 unity principles to support us in showing up in a way that serves the planet. She says the first 4 principles constitute a handy checklist before taking action. In other words, in deciding how we're going to show up with what's showing up. Here's the handy checklist. Do I affirm divine intelligence and love in this situation? God is all there is. Divine intelligence and love is all there is. Do I affirm that? Even in the face of, my stuff about family? Do I affirm divine intelligence and love in this situation? Do I remember my own divinity and that of others? What? Sure, I'm divine. You bet. Sure, absolutely. But not my coworker. Come on. Not my neighbor. Come on. No. If God is all there is and I am one with the infinite presence, then so is my neighbor and so is my coworker. So do I remember my own divinity and the divinity of others involved? And the third principle, do I take responsibility for attracting this situation, for collapsing potential in a particular way in my life? Do I take responsibility for my experience of life and know that the outcome for me will always match my thoughts and feelings about it? And so I'm responsible for cultivating a greater awareness of my thoughts and feelings if I indeed want to have a greater experience of life. So these are the first three principles and how we can kind of use them as a checklist. And the fourth one is, have I aligned myself with God, the universe of good, to receive guidance before I act? In other words, have I prayed? Have I prayed? Have I affirmed infinite presence, infinite oneness? Have I taken responsibility for my experience, and have I prayed about it? If I have done all of those things, my action will be divinely guided, no question. And if I have done all of those things, even when people are difficult, it's easy to do all those things when people are easy for me, isn't it? I must do those things even when people are difficult, even when politics is triggering me, even when the world seems unjust. My opportunity is to anchor in these questions before I take action. Because here's the real thing that's happening underneath, even when people are difficult, underneath, even when politics is triggering me, underneath, even when the world seems unjust, beneath all of that is me. And my responses and reactions to all of that, I may as well say, even when I'm scared, even when I'm angry, even when I'm fearful, even when I'm tired, even when all of these things, can I be the living embodiment of the spiritual principles we teach? Am I willing to show up in a way that is going to shift things for good? Or am I going to continue to show up in blame, shame, and guilt and make everybody wrong and me be right and cover up my anger and my fear and my fatigue and my uncertainty, my doubt with external behaviors that are not life affirming, that are not anchored in these principles? Here's the way Jesus put it. He said, we must be in the world, not of it. I am called to be present to all of these experiences of life. Oh, please. But not at the effect of them. I must be in the world, but not of the world. The way to evolve, to learn, to grow, to be the presence of love is to recognize, yeah, we got this, we got that, we got the other thing. Yes, I'm scared. Yes, I don't really know how to do this. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I'm tired. Sure, all of those things are going on. Those things do not drive me. What drives me is my understanding that I am at one with something greater than I am. And it is a force of love. What drives me is my understanding that I and we collectively have created these experiences. And the only way to create a new day tomorrow is to be something different today. Can I say that again? The only way to create a world of peace, a world of love, a world of inclusion is to be loving, peaceful, and inclusive today. That's it. It doesn't work any other way. Because as we push back, as we argue, as we fight, we're just creating more opposition. And opposition today creates opposition tomorrow. Because of principle number 3, the creative process, as best we can understand it. And so when Jesus told us to be in the world, not of the world, I believe he was really saying, be present to what's going on and lift yourself in consciousness to be the love that God is, the grace that God is, the peace that God is, the power that God is. Even in the face of these situations that trigger our fears and our anger, he went on to say, well, in another place, actually, seek first the kingdom and all else will be added unto you. Be in the world, not of it. Seek first the kingdom. Choose the kingdom. And when we're talking about kingdom, we're talking about a consciousness, a way of being in the world, a consciousness of love. We have to integrate who we say we are. Because I don't know about you, but, you know, I mean, I say a lot, you know, Unity is a community where we practice love. Is that really true? Are we loving no matter what? Are we behaving in ways that are motivated by our understanding that God is all there is? We are one with God. The person that is triggering me right now is also one with God. There is something beautiful and wonderful here. And somehow I am creating my experience of this situation, and I got to pray on it so that I can show up as love. That would be integrating who we say we are with who we are. That would be expressing the divinity that we say we are. I mean, talk. I can talk real good. I could do an 8-week class on Unity principles, and I could talk the entire time. I'm real good at talking. Where is the love? Where does the rubber meet the road such that love is the divine expression? I'm not saying that very well. Am I truly practicing the principles we teach? Am I living the truth that I know? One way that Ellen Davenport talks about it in the book, she says, is our ego in service to our soul? And because I want to tell you, our ego wants to be in service to our ego. And it wants to keep me in fear, in anger, in doubt. It wants to keep me in tired, in sad, because I'm malleable there. My ego, I think of my ego, it's personally for me, the ego me shows up, I call it Eeyore, oh, it'll never work. It's not possible, it can't be done. We should just all go back to bed. It's too hard. That's my ego protecting itself, because then it gets to show up in control of my life. My ego, I have the opportunity to say to my ego, no, you're going to be in service to my soul. You are going to be in service to my conscious spiritual journey, because we need the ego. It's what differentiates us and separates us from everybody else, right? It's what gives me, the faith and confidence to stand up in front of people and talk, to do so many of the things that I need to do. But the key is to have my ego in service to my soul, not my ego in service to my ego. On page 118, she says this: putting principle into action starts as an inside job. To be peace, to bring peace to the world, be peaceful. That means not yelling at the kids or making obscene gestures at other drivers. That's what it means. I can say, yeah, let's sing the peace song every Sunday. Peace begins with me, blah, 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 blah. And then if I turn around and yell at my kids, of course, I don't have kids, so that one's easy for me to say. If I turn around and yell at my partner, if I turn around and, flip somebody off on the freeway, or if I call somebody a bad name because of the way they're driving, if I say, oh, what a jerk, that is not peace. That's not peace. This means not yelling at the kids or making obscene gestures at other drivers. It means patience in the grocery line, even if the person in front of you clearly has more than 10 items for the express checkout. Has this ever triggered you? It sure has triggered me. Even if that person has more than 10 items, we don't know what's going on with them. We don't know what their thing is. We have no idea. And so we lovingly bless that person. Oh my gosh, there's some reason that you think that is okay for you. And I just love and bless you exactly how you are showing up. Because what I know is the divinity is in expression as you, even as much as it is in expression as me, and that we are brothers and sisters in spirit. We cannot be separate. And what you're doing right now that's triggering me is triggering me because some part of me wants to do that, or wants to cheat the system a little bit, or wants to get mine. That's why I'm really mad. My ego is keeping me small. She goes on to say, you don't have to find a solution for the Middle East to contribute to peace on the planet. If enough people begin to be peaceful, peace will erupt on earth, just as violence does now. You see, we have to decide to be peaceful. We have to decide to raise our vibration. We have to decide to be loving and then be that because of what we know. This is so timely, you guys. There is this thing happening in Afghanistan that is horrifying. And I don't say that as a political judgment, because the political decisions and all of that stuff that's behind it is very complex. And I can't even begin to know an nth of it. So that is not my job, to judge the political situation. My job is to be peace for these people who have no potential for peace in their physical experience right now. But what I do know is that that is unfolding right now because of collective consciousness yesterday. 20 years we've been doing this thing in Afghanistan. We started this thing in Afghanistan in response to 9/11. 9/11 happened because of the consciousness of violence, the consciousness of separation that got created way before it happened. We are recreating this situation over and over and over again for 20 years because we refuse to be the presence of peace. And it's just an idea, you guys. We have to be something in consciousness. What's happening there is a result of the collective consciousness of the people, that we believe somehow violence is going to create nonviolence, that we believe somehow violence is going to solve our problems, that we believe if we kick back, if we call somebody a jerk, that somehow they're going to get better. It's not helpful. What's helpful is shifting the consciousness to a consciousness of love, of peace, practicing principles 1 through 4. Not just giving them lip service, but practicing them. See, here's what's not needed in the situation in Afghanistan right now. What's not needed is more anger, more fear, more hand-wringing, more blame, more shame, more guilt. That is not needed. We don't need that there right now. What we need is a vibration of love. What we need is a plugged-in toaster. What we need is an awareness that there is something greater, and this presence is a presence for good, a presence for love, a presence for grace, a presence for peace. That's what's needed. And that is what we can do. See, I can't go to the airport in Kabul and, feed people or I don't know. There's nothing I can do to help those people except create a consciousness of peace. I have the privilege of being able to rest in prayer for people who are in grave danger right now, who, I don't know about you, but they're hanging on for dear life. They don't have the privilege to stop and own themselves into a consciousness of peace. It's my job as a person of relative privilege. I have the privilege to sit in my chair and pray for them. And pray for this airlift thing. I don't even know what you call it, but thousands and thousands of people are leaving that country every day. I have the privilege to sit in my chair and pray for the ones who can't leave. It's a privilege. Do not abdicate your responsibility to create a world of peace, because we created together collectively a world that is not peace. Our opportunity is to create, is to be present to something greater today in a way that we never have another Afghanistan. The opportunity is to create something in consciousness today that the next time a germ starts spreading around, we are loving enough and peaceful enough and recognizing our oneness and our unity enough and recognizing the creative cycle enough to do the right thing such that, you know, almost 700,000 people don't have to die. That's our opportunity. Our opportunity and our privilege is to rest in prayer this morning, right now, for the people of New Orleans who, you know, I mean, there's a big old hurricane happening down there. I'm sure their prayer, like if I was in the middle of that, I'd be like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, help me, help me, help me. That's, you know, a prayer that's appropriate for the moment if you're in New Orleans, right? We have the privilege to rest in prayer for those who are in the path of this storm, to simply know that all the efforts to mitigate damage, to mitigate injury and harm, all of those efforts are streamlined and smooth, that everyone is lifted in consciousness of safety and grace for everybody, that medical providers are provided with all that they need, that hospitals are well equipped. Do you see, these are the things that we can do today. Or I can look at the news and go, oh my God, those poor people. Oh, geez, that's horrible. No, it's not horrible. It's what's happening. And we get to choose to plug in the toaster and be present to what's happening in a particular way. We can watch the news and be all mad at ISIS or be all mad at, you know, whoever, everybody's mad at somebody in this situation, right? So you pick the one that you want to be mad at with the Afghanistan situation. You can do that. Or you can stand in prayer for a successful evacuation for the American servicemen and women in that country right now who are managing this evacuation. I've been reading a little bit about it. It's a phenomenal logistical challenge. And the work they are doing and the commitment with which they are doing it, let's pray for them. Let's pray for highest good and blessing for them. Let's pray for the families of the service people who were killed this week. Let's pray for those families and just recognize that, like, just a mantle of peace and comfort lowering upon them as they grieve and mourn their loss. This is walking the path that we talk. Let's pray for the people of the Taliban and the people of ISIS who somehow think being a source of such great harm to others is going to make their lives better, because that's really what it's about, right? They're just operating out of their own kind of ego-driven way of being in the world that says somehow if I abuse enough power, I'm going to get my way. Let's pray for them. Not like in the sense of making the behaviors they're engaging in okay. That's not the point. The point is to look at the behaviors they're engaging in and the great deep harm that's being caused out of those behaviors, and recognize that underneath fear, anger, sadness, unhealed grief, we pray for that. We pray for that. Ellen Davenport does a masterful job on page 120. She says, I'm not saying you shouldn't care. I'm saying be careful how you care. Be careful how you care. Are you caring through resistance or through support? Are you against something or in favor of its opposite? Ernest Holmes said it this way. He said, we must be for something and against nothing. I am for freedom in Afghanistan. I am for an easy and effortless evacuation of everyone who can leave that country right now. I am for that which will mitigate the effects of this pandemic we are walking in right now. I am for something and against nothing. It's important to be careful how we care, because our job is to be the presence of love. Our job is to be the personification of the first four principles. God is all there is. I am one with God. If God is all there is, God is in ISIS too. I can't understand it yet. I can't see it yet. It's difficult. But what I can do is raise my vibration, raise my consciousness, raise my awareness of the infinite love and peace of God. Because what I know is the reason that this is happening today is because of a consciousness yesterday, and I'm going to create a new consciousness so something new can happen tomorrow. That's my job. Choose the kingdom, be in the world, not of it. Plug in the toaster. Let's get ourselves some nice brown toasted bagels. And you see, this is why spiritual community is so important. I don't know about you, but spiritual community has been instrumental for me over the years in helping me stay plugged in anchoring in me in love, in supporting me in learning and growing and evolving my understanding of things so that I can create that new consciousness. Unity is like the support that I can plug into that helps me remember the spiritual truth as I do this dance between shifting my consciousness and seeing facts and lifting and shifting once again. It's a dance. And praise God, on days I'm low, all y'all are high. And I need you. I need you to lift me. On days that you're low, I'm high, and I will lift you. This is why we must have spiritual community to plug into, to help us remember that we are here to be something. We are here to be love. We are here to do something. We are here to do good in the world. That's what it's about. And so let's seal this message. Let's seal this awareness with some prayer right here and right now. And I recognize and I know that there is only one life. That life is God's life. And that life is perfect love. That life is perfect peace. That life is infinite wisdom, power, and grace. This peace, this love, this power, wisdom, and grace, divinely expressing and vibrating throughout the universe. We recognize and we know this infinite presence right here and right now. And as I know that God is all there is, I know that I am one with it. And so I must be at one with its infinite wisdom, its infinite love, its peace, its grace is mine now. For I am at one with the presence, created in its image and likeness. And as it is true for me, it is true for each member of this sacred and holy circle we call Unity of Bellevue. We are all at one with this presence, with this infinite beingness, with this vibration of love, with this vibration of wisdom, of peace. This is the truth of who we are. We belong to something greater, and we know it. And it's in this consciousness that I enact the creative process now by declaring peace, by declaring love, by declaring infinite wisdom, guiding international leaders right now as the world situation unfolds. I know that peace descends upon their minds and hearts and simply facilitates that powerful decision-making that is life-affirming and creates a world that works for all. I declare and I know the truth that hearts are comforted in this situation in Afghanistan, both the people of Afghanistan and those who are leaving and the families here in the United States whose lives are so affected. I know for all of these people, a peace that passes understanding, wrapping their hearts and minds, comforting them, lifting them, inspiring them. I know that this presence is expressing divinely as them right here and right now. This is the truth. And I know that for those who have been touched by COVID-19, those whose lives, those who have been ill, those who have passed, I know that something divine is unfolding in the midst of it, that we are being called to a greater idea of what it means to be one's neighbor. We are called to a greater idea of love and compassion. And we simply allow this worldly experience to lift us into that consciousness right here and right now. And I just speak my word briefly for the folks of New Orleans right now who are perhaps feeling fearful, who are perhaps feeling anxious about the storm. And I just speak my word of comfort and ease and grace for them right now. I simply know the beingness of God expressing divinely in each and every heart in that part of our country. And as they walk through this time, there is a sense of peace and acceptance, and yet conviction of what is to be done next. And so I give thanks for these words of truth. I give thanks that we live what we know. I give thanks for the infinite presence that is calling us forth ever to a greater expansion of its expression here on planet Earth. I give thanks for that peace that passes understanding, for the wisdom that God is expressing divinely all over the world. I call it good and very, very good. And I release this word to the law and I let it go. And so it is. Amen.
O world of God, so vast and strange, profound and wonderful and fair, within the utmost reach of thought, and yet within our Maker's care. We are not strangers on this earth, whirling amid the sands of space. We are God's children, this our home, with those of every clime and race. Oh, world where human life is lived, so strangely mingling joy and pain, so full of wonder and despair, so needful that the good shall reign. It is this world that God has loved, and goodness is its Maker's plan. The promise of God's triumph is eternal love in every O world of God, so vast and strange, profound and wonderful and fair, within the utmost reach of thought, and yet within our Maker's care. We are not strangers on this earth, whirling amid the sands of space. We are God's children, this our home, with those of every clime and race. O world of God, so vast and strange, profound and wonderful and fair.
Good morning. Thank you, Leora and Jay, Rev Marla, for a wonderful message. I'm Susan Neidig. I'm your board host this morning. This is the time when we focus on the flow of abundance. and how we participate in that, how we practice in that flow of abundance. If you're new to our teachings, we ask nothing of you other than to participate with us and maybe join our email, our weekly email. For those of us that call this our spiritual home, giving of our financial gifts is a spiritual practice. As we've been talking about today, we've been talking about practicing the 5 principles. And one of those is to participate in abundance, receiving, and giving. The ways to give are on your screen now. And in that consciousness of giving, let us join together and repeat our offering affirmation. I give freely, and for the joy of giving, I know that seeds sown in love produce an overflowing harvest of good for me, for this center, and for all people. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive, and so it is.
And I just speak a word of blessing over these gifts. I know that they are given graciously and gratefully. I know that these gifts fund ministry here at Unity of Bellevue that changes the world. And so I consecrate these gifts to that good work, and I call them blessed. And so it is. Amen. Hey, we're going to hand it over to Monica in just a second, but I want to say something before we do that. And then Susan's going to say something next about some stuff we have coming up this fall. We're getting ready for fall. Like September is around the corner. It's here this week, y'all. And so I want to invite you to consider a class this fall. There will be a flyer coming out a little bit later this week, but registration opens today. We are working with The Gifts of Imperfection, the book by Brené Brown. We've developed an 8-week class that will be on Wednesdays starting on September 29th. It's a great experience and a great opportunity to be present to the powerful teachings of Brené Brown, which are so Unity-like. And so please join us for that. You can register online. Go to the website, www.unityofbellevue.org/education or classes. I can't remember. Go to the main page, go to the classes page. And then the other class we're offering this fall is Unity of Bellevue membership. The membership class will be in November. Please consider whether your heart is called to connect, to plug into Unity in this powerful way. The power of commitment transforms your experience of participation in a spiritual community. So please consider joining us for that. I also want you to set aside second Tuesdays coming up this fall, second Tuesday of the month. We are going to do some work. For now, kind of the working title is Unity Community Connect. It's time for us to take a look at who are we really, and how is our community called to be in a changing world? The world of church is changing, the world is changing, and we need to take a look at who we are and how we are being called to be present to that transition. How do we maintain our identity as a Unity spiritual center in the midst of all of this cultural change, in the midst of this social change? What is our purpose? Why are we here? And so we're going to be having some very informal and participative conversations about that on the second Tuesday of the month. September, October, November, December, drop in on one of them or all of them. It'll be at 6:30 and there will be a link on our website. So that is part of what's going on this fall. We've got a couple other things coming your way, but you're going to learn more about that another time. And then Susan wants to talk to you a little bit about the conversation the board has been having about opening our building. Susan is your board president, and we're super grateful for her.
Thank you, Rev Marla. As many of you are aware, I hope all of you were aware, we were going to open August 15th, open our sanctuary, do our celebration service in person. We decided not to open. We made the decision to open when all of the COVID numbers were really, really low. It looked like we were turning the corner. The governor was going to open the state. Our decision was that we were going to open 45 days after the governor opened the state of Washington. 45 days after the governor opened the state, the numbers had again jumped up. And the risk with the variant seem to be very real. It is very real. But most importantly, the data that we were looking at that really made the board rethink the opening were the polls that we did with you. And the polls said that many of you were not comfortable coming back into our sanctuary. And it played out in the polls of I'm not comfortable being in person, but also in terms of how many people were willing to come volunteer, because it takes quite a few volunteers to do our Sunday morning celebration service, our meditation service in person. And so we've decided as a board, we will review this every month. We will continue to poll you and ask you if you feel safe coming back into our community, coming back into our building. Do you feel safe volunteering? And does our staff feel safe being in person? So we're not going to tie it to a decision by the governor. We will look at the data, and every month it's on the board agenda that we will revisit. Are we ready to come back or not? But just know we are listening to your voice, which is, are you ready to come back in person? So I appreciate your participation in the polls. I appreciate I'm going to thank you in advance for participating in the Community Connect sessions. I think that'll be very important for us, kind of setting our strategies as we go forward. So the first Sunday of the month is our Q&A session. If you have any questions about reopening, about this decision process, about our finances, about anything, then tune in after our celebration service on the first Sunday of each month. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Bellevue. My name is Monica McDowell Elvig. We welcome you to consider, if you are new, plugging into Unity of Bellevue as you plug into Spirit to stay connected. The best way to stay connected to Unity of Bellevue right now is to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. You can do that by going to our website, unityofbellevue.org, and at the bottom of every page is a sign-up form for that newsletter. So reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Two things. Living What Matters meets this Wednesday at 1 p.m. It's our free drop-in group with Reverend Marla. We're walking ourselves through the Book of Soul by Mark Nepo with a new spiritual practice each week. All of the links are in your chat and in comments on Facebook, including the links for the classes. The new fall classes are in your chat. They will be on the website later this week. Our prayer chaplains this Sunday are Lori Coleman and Jennifer Holt. Just stay on after service. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then they will lead us in a prayer circle. This is confidential. You'll just choose the breakout room for that prayer circle, and they are happy to pray with you. You can also send prayer requests to prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org. And if you'd like one of them to talk with you, please put that in your message. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Join me on Wednesday for Living What Matters. Join me in September, second Tuesday in September for the Unity Community Connect. Join us. Great things are happening here, and I'm really grateful for you. We have a closing song from Leora and Jay. Stick around for that. Many blessings. Have a great week, everybody.
Well, this has been a wonderful morning. Thank you, Reverend Marla and the Unity community for inviting us to be with you this morning. I'm grateful you put my good gifts to good work, and I'm grateful. I'm happy to be here with you in this way, and I look forward to doing it again. We are a spirit family. Reverend Marla, your talk was very powerful. So I'm going to sing this tune. It's called Spirit of the Living God, and I ask you, each of you, as the lyric unfolds, to be lifted with ideas that are going to bring you into fruition of, just like Marla was speaking this morning. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me and use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, move among us all. Spirit of the living God, move among us all. Humble, caring, selfless, sharing. Spirit of the living God, fill our lives with love. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Well, melt me and mold me, fill me and use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, move among us all. Oh, Spirit of the living God, move among us all. Humble, caring, selfless, sharing. Spirit of the living God, fill our lives with love. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Fill our lives with love. Spirit of the living God, fill our lives with love. God bless everyone. Have a blessed day. See you again.
Sometimes I forget where I come from. Sometimes I forget where I'm going to. Sometimes I get so confused I lose my way. Sometimes I know you feel the same. Then I remember there is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. There is nowhere God is not. There is nowhere that God is not. No, no, no. Everywhere I am, I know what I got. Sometimes I believe Thank you.